pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting will be conducted both in person and remotely due to the current COVID-19 restrictions as by the governor. Roll call.
Trustee Guyer.
Here.
Trustee Spurling. Here. Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Here.
Trustee Marisak.
Here.
And Trustee Betzinger.
Okay, public comments. At this time, we take public comments from anyone.
I was going to say, we did not receive any comments by voicemail or email, and anybody wishing to say things about Trustee Lee, there'll be a time for that later.
That's right.
But any other public comment, we would take now.
Okay. Now we'll have the chief. We're recognition of Dan Kowalski for assistant and officer. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Lee. First of all, I'd like, from everyone at the police department, both past and present, thank you. We appreciate your service, and you're truly going to be missed. But that's not why I'm up here. Tonight I'm up here in light of everything happening in our country, across this great nation. I know there's a lot of anti-rhetoric about police and the things we do, but I want to thank this board for everything you guys do. It just shows our community always appreciates and cares about us. And tonight is a perfect example. I want Mr. Dan Krakowski to come over here with me, please. So a couple of weeks ago, one of our officers was following up an investigation about a retail theft in the Douglas corridor. Came across an individual who was familiar with him, identified him as the individual, and then the individual wanted to fight with him. So the officer isn't the biggest officer, and I'm not going to say the individual was getting the better half of our officer, but as Mr. Krakowski said, it looked like he was getting tossed around, so he felt the need to jump in and assist our officer and help him subdue him and take control of the situation. So on that, I'd like to read the citation. So it says, for actions on March 31st, 2021, while in the area of 1500 Douglas Road, Montgomery, Illinois, Mr. Krakowski observed a Montgomery police officer involved in a physical altercation with an individual interacting with police. Mr. Krakowski, not fearing for his own safety, came to the aid of the officer and helped him subdue the individual resisting the police. Mr. Krakowski displayed courage and conviction well above the beyond and expected response from any citizen. He's a credit to himself, his family, the citizens of Montgomery, and the citizens of Oswego, where he's from. And with that, sir, we thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. I'm sure we could use more people like you, especially in the future, I think. So the other thing I'd like to say real quick is I'm president pro tem tonight because Matt texted me this morning. He was going to be here. His boss had a medical emergency this morning, so Matt had to go to a different meeting tonight. But he left me a nice text. And I gave him a nice text back because I'm just proud to have him help me. I started out in 2001, and Matt and I were the two. We gained momentum as we got other trustees, but Anne Marie started out with this building and the police station. We were way ahead of all the other people. We were taking money from the builders to pay for almost half of this as far as just the building. We really, we brought all the, and since that time with these guys even, we brought a lot of businesses in, I think just as many as anybody else in the area. And we were ahead of everybody. And now with the Public Works building, I think we're definitely going to be finished before all the rest of the people. I leave these guys with the water, which is going to be a problem. But I was very happy to be with these guys. These guys really have made it a lot easier than when I first started. When I first started, it was I took over the fest before I was a trustee because nobody would help. And these guys all help. And that's something that I think the other towns, you look at it, everybody around us, North Aurora, Sugar Grove, Yorkville, Oswego, they all turn trustees and mayors around. And if you look, we haven't changed much. And I think that's the good part. I think people look at us as we're stable. The rest of them are all hunting for what they want to do, but we have been very stable, and I'm glad I'm leaving this with these guys. So other than that,
All right, so at this point, with Matt not here, he had asked me to step in, and we've gotten to item C, recognition of trustee Denny Lee. So Denny, if you want to come up in front here, I have a little something for you from the village.
all I can see on this is cake upstairs afterwards.
Jeannie said no, Kate. So in honor of Denny Lee's 20 years of service as a trustee, 20-plus years, oh, you're not going to hold it, are you? How did I know? So not only did Denny do 20 years here as a trustee, but again, countless years beforehand, and he's going to continue to help us in the future, I know, with his knowledge and background. And I know that I'm going to let everyone from the board chime in, but for my sake, I just want to say thank you for being the mentor and friend that you've become over the years. My daughter Sammy's here. You've known her since she was a little squirt, and she wouldn't miss this. She wanted to be here. So again, thank you for all of your service and everything. And then I have an email here to read, and I'm not, unfortunately, I didn't ask Debbie. It was by my space here. Thank you for inviting me, but I will be unable to attend. Please, though, share my message with Denny Lee. He definitely served Montgomery well and should be proud of all he has achieved in his many roles. Wishing him many years of happiness and relaxation. The old chapter is closed today. A new journey is about to begin. Embark on it with a deep breath. Kindness, Paula Mikulich. Okay, she's with the Historical Preservation. So, and then, you know, if anybody has anything they'd like to say, please feel free. I'll be happy to come and bring you the microphone.
I'd say people can come up here too if they like.
Or you can come to the podium.
Hold on, I got something I want to say. I learned from Denny. This is kind of a bittersweet night. I mean, it's good for you.
Can't hear
You can't?
you. No.
Why not?
It's nice to not hear you, but
It's a bittersweet night. Denny, when Doug said that he's been a mentor to me and Teresa and Matt, and he kind of took us all under his wing, and, you know, he got me on the plan commission. When I first came here, I complained about taxes, and Marilyn invited to a meeting, and all of a sudden, Denny took me under his wing, and then I was on plan commission, and then I was a head of plan commission, and I was on plan commission for 5 years, and then he and I used to go across the street or over to somewhere and bitch about what was going on in the village and who was doing what and who wasn't doing what. And, you know, you've kind of really taught us. You've probably, out of any board member, put your imprint on this village more than really anybody else, because you've left the village with the people that you wanted to leave it with, and have gotten it how you want it. And, you know, some of the things I'm going to remember, and one of the things I'm always going to remember giving you hell when we're shooting the fireworks off, and Tom and I are standing there with stopwatches, and you're complaining because that one was too short and that one was too long, and it's 10 seconds too short. And the other thing, you know, when we used to go out and put election signs in, and you would bitch and complain that your hands were cold, and I'd say, hey, get in the car, old man, we got more stops to make. And but I love you. We're still going to reach out and ask for your advice and counsel and stuff. So even though you're not a board member, you still kind of are. But I love you and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Denny, I would echo a lot of what Steve said. I really appreciate you. You have taught me so much about the village, about what it means to serve this village, and what to really pay attention to, and it's just been really a pleasure to serve with you. I wish you the best. I'm sad you're going, very sad you're going, but I do wish you the best, and I can't express how much I appreciate you. So thank you for everything you've done, and of course, the effect you've had on myself and the other board members as well. Thank you.
You know, I haven't known Denny or don't know Denny as well as some of the board members. I haven't been around as long. 4 or 5 years in the Plan Commission and a couple years here on the board, was having a conversation the other day about Mr. Lee. And it was, well, Denny loves Montgomery. And I think that's true, but I think there's something more important than that. What I've seen over the years is that Denny loves the people in Montgomery, the people of Montgomery. And it's evidenced by you guys that are here today and the impact on the village. You're a mentor. You're someone for us to look up to, and you conduct business the right way. And I appreciate learning from you.
I will say this, I've lived in there all my life in Montgomery. And I do like the people of Montgomery. That was the big thing. I've had 5 houses probably I've lived in here, but it's always been in Montgomery. And I've always had my good wife, Jeanette, over there, pushing me and telling me that's enough, your blood pressure's going up. So other than that, you know, she's let me do a lot of these things, and I appreciate her more than anything.
Pete?
Thank you. Just wanted to say on behalf of Engineering Enterprises, we're certainly going to miss you. We've appreciated your perspective through the years and your counsel on projects and unique perspective on things that we may not have considered, especially given the connection you have to the community. So that's appreciated. We note that every board has a unique personality. All the board members bring something to the table. You've certainly brought a lot to the table over the last 20 years or so. So we really appreciate it. We will miss you. And I've got something decorated in Green Bay colors for you. It's from your friends at EEI.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you.
Well, Denny. I've had the pleasure of knowing Denny as a resident, as an employee, and as a trustee, as a friend. You talk about Montgomery Fest. I remember years back when I was more involved in Montgomery Fest that every day, one of the first things I would do was stop at the shop down here and see Denny, and Denny, oh, I need this, I need that, this is all messed up, you guys need to move this, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I know there's been times that you and I didn't see eye to eye on things, but I think we always had a mutual respect, and we always worked out our differences. And I'm going to miss you on the board. I thought I would never do this, but I did bring something special tonight. And, you know, I think I'll put this on just for Denny Lee. But I will say this, when the meeting's over, I'm giving it to you. I'm not going to take it home. I'm not going to walk out of the building with this on. So there you go, Green Bay Packers.
I went to 3 places looking for a Packer shirt last night.
Yeah.
First
right
of
in
all, they
town.
don't have them in my
On
size.
your size.
Tom's got his on. Yeah, she got green and gold too. That was kind of a joke every meeting that we had. It was kind of a complete joke on Green Bay every meeting. James Pilmer, I didn't see you come in.
I'm Jim Pilmer, Executive Director of the Fox Valley Park District. And Denny, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the Fox Valley Park District, we have a tree dedicated in your honor at Austin Park. This tree has been planted by the Fox Valley Park District with gratitude to Trustee Denny Lee for his years of dedicated service to the village of Montgomery as trustee, his tireless work with Montgomery Fest, and as a friend of the Fox Valley Park District. So thank you. There's a little map on here. where you can find where your tree is. The marker will be out there in a few weeks. The staff selected an English oak tree that's a long-living oak tree. It's about 24 feet tall with a 6-inch caliper, they told me. We put it right on the spot where that 67 GTO always kills the grass from its oil leak at Montgomery Fest. So we'll have to move him somewhere else.
Thank you, Jim.
What I neglected to mention was that the paver that I handed to Denny Lee, there's a mirror image of that paver that is now installed in the walk down in front in honor of Denny's service. So again, that one you can use as a doorstop, bookshelf. I would make sure your wife doesn't use it to kabong you.
Yeah, I'll say it's
you
pretty,
know.
it's heavy, it's beautiful.
I'll carry it out for you.
Good. I will say to finish up that we brought a lot of companies in, Sam's Club, Farm and Fleet, all different years, all different times. The MEDC, I started in 2003, and they've done a great job. They're the only ones left. Oswego dropped theirs. People all got mad at them. They tried to start it up. Nobody wanted anything to do with them. So we have had a great MEDC, and now we're working on bringing CAT. And years ago, I never thought we'd get CAT into Montgomery, and here we are working to get the CAT property now into Montgomery, annex in, and I think that's another great thing for staff that did that. Shar, I think, has done a great job. And I have to say, Anne Marie in the beginning laid all this out, and all we had to do is follow the lead, and she had it really well done, so. All right.
All right, well, at this point, Mr. Lee, I'm going to cut you off because we're going to need to take a little break here because we have some cake upstairs.
I'm ready
So
for
everybody
that.
Yeah, I was afraid that's where he was headed first. So if we're going to pause the meeting now and go upstairs and have some cake and visit a little bit, and I figure about 15, 20 minutes, we'll be back down. Sound good?
I'll
Thank you.
keep track, make sure we're on time back. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Call the meeting back to order. Got it ready, Penny? All right, we got the consent agenda. Minutes of the village board meeting, April 12th. Accounts payable through April 20th for $507,911.81. Appointment of Ben Barasco to 3121 Fairfield Way to the Planning Commission to fill a vacancy for a term through January 31st, 2003. And I see Ben is with us tonight up in the last row. Thank you, Ben. Proclamation for Arbor Day, April 30th. Proclamation for plant trees for community. I could have Dan read one and Steve the other, but we'll leave that go. Proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, May 2nd through 8th, 2021, and I told Penny she could read that, and she declined. So I need a motion for the,
Motion to approve?
Thank
the
you to
roll.
Penny. Thank you to Penny.
All right, trustee Marisak,
Yes.
trustee Betzinger,
Yes.
trustee Guyer, trustee Spurling,
Yes.
trustee Lee,
yes.
and trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
All right, items for separate action. Ordinance 1911, accepting an easement for a bicycle and pedestrian path from S.R. Jacobson. Sonia's taking this one?
So this is for acceptance of an easement for a portion of the trail behind the library by the Montgomery Place Apartments. This portion of the trail is actually on the Montgomery Place Apartments property, hence the need for the easement.
Anybody got any questions on that?
No, is there a little floodplain back there? Is there any issue with this parcel? Or am I thinking of a different area back there? Is there a low-lying area back there? Like significant?
To the path, yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. Are all of the construction activities done around this path? Once we take ownership of this path, they're not going to do any more work on it, they're not going to damage it, they're not going to do anything to it?
No, it's outside their normal operation area. I mean, it's not gonna be something they're gonna be driving over or anything like that. It's just to get access from the road to the,
Never mind. I was thinking the Montgomery Place, never mind. I'm a little further to the west.
And the path isn't here currently, right? This is the easement to put the path in the future.
yes, so we can
Okay.
construct it.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
That makes more sense. Thank you.
These are by the Montgomery Place Apartments.
Second?
Take the roll?
Trustee Spurgeon? Yes. Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Yes.
And Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Switching girls here, we go to ordinance 1912, amending Village Code, Chapter 3, alcoholic beverage. Laura?
Okay, yes, thank you. This is a follow-up to an item that was discussed at the last meeting with regard to creating a new gas station license that would be limited to the sale of beer and wine only. The highlights of this it's a new subsection of the current gas station license. So currently, there's a broader license that allows for the sale of liquor as well. This would be a subsidiary license that would be limited to beer and wine only. It would be single-serve, it would exclude single-serve containers. And I know that we did have a question regarding, right now it does say 16 ounces or less are not allowed, but a can or a single serve of beer greater than 16 ounces would be allowed. And that language is straight from the current M license. So if the board wanted to change that to not allow any single serve beer, we would want to change the ounces in there. But right now, the language that's in this M2 is straight from what is in the current M license with the restriction on the single-serve single-serve beer or wine. And then I also added in the hours, so the sales would stop at 12 PM instead of 1 or later.
I really thought that we were not doing single serve
That's
at all.
correct. Right.
Correct?
Only, yeah, 6 packs, 12 packs.
So
Six
right
packs,
now,
12
is
packs.
the current M license allows, it says you cannot sell anything less than 16 ounces. So technically, if you had 40 ounces, that would be allowed under your current M license.
Yeah, and I thought we were creating this, wasn't this a, like, yeah, this is the class M2? We were
So in this,
resolving
then,
that.
if that was the intention, I guess my question back to you is that okay then in the M license? Or it seemed like that was what the intention in the original M license was trying to limit as well. So I don't know if you want to limit it in just this M2 or if you wanted to also limit it in the M.
Just the M2.
Just the
M2,
M2.
okay.
Yeah.
That was one of the specific reasons to try to allow this to move forward and help the operator, but to put some tighter restrictions on it.
Okay, so
Due to the
then,
concerns.
okay, so we can change the ounce.
Do you guys agree, Teresa, Dan?
Yeah,
Yes,
what's
oh,
a
yeah.
40 ounce?
I was gonna say, yeah,
I'm not
I-
a beer drinker, I guess, but what's 40 ounces? Is there a
It's
can?
a
Can.
40-ounce Old E. It's
Is it
delicious, but we don't have to sell them there. It's okay.
It's delicious.
I will get one out of his car for you.
All right. I'm a scotch drinker, I didn't know, go ahead.
Okay,
So-
can we just go back again? You're messing me up now. Okay. So the M2 will have we're not going to have single serve.
So we would want a motion then for me to tweak that language, so it would be subject to attorney review, because right now it would limit single-serve wine. And again, I took that language because that seemed to have been what the intention was on the M as well. So I was just trying to be consistent, but we can certainly restrict it further.
I would prefer to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So
We'll
yes,
restrict
just
it
please
further.
add that in your motion,
Yep.
and we can certainly.
Teresa, go ahead.
Good.
Well, I'm not in favor
No.
of any of this, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, single-serve of beer, I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, obviously the wine is
Yes.
its own. So motion to approve with the revision for the limitation on the single serve for the beer and subject to attorney review.
Second.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Yes.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
No.
And Trustee Lee?
Yes.
And trustee Youngerman.
And trustee
Yes,
And Trustee Youngerman?
I'm still here.
Worth the price of admission.
I'm not retiring.
Okay, ordinance 1913, a study for the feasibility of establishing a tax increment allotment and blah, blah, the former Caterpillar facility. Sonia?
Thank you. So the Reich brothers, as you know, have purchased the former Caterpillar plant site, and they have actually submitted a petition to annex into the village. As part of that petition, they have requested a TIF incentive to assist with the redevelopment of that site. In order to establish a TIF district, an eligibility study must be undertaken to determine if the study area is eligible pursuant to the Illinois state statutes. Back in 2012, we went out for an RFP for a TIF study for TIF number 2 over on Orchard Road, and we selected Tesca Associates to do the study as part of that process. In order to expedite the review, and because the village has a previous professional relationship with Tesca Associates and their familiarity with the village's TIFs, we are recommending waiving the RFP and utilizing Tesca for this study. They have provided us with a proposal that estimates a 4-month timeframe for the project initiation to approval of the TIF and a not-to-exceed fee of $23,000 for the study. Please note that a supermajority vote is required for this since we are waiving the RFP process. Once this ordinance is adopted, each taxing district that would be affected by the designation would be notified of the study.
Questions? Anybody?
Did you say what the timeline is on the completion of the study?
They said it would take approximately 4 months.
Okay.
I'll just make a comment. I was on the steering committee a couple of years ago where we worked with Tesca, and they did an excellent job. So I would expect nothing less than an excellent job this time around. So I'm okay with it.
Is there any cost sharing from the developer for the TIF study?
At this point, no, but this is something that would be TIF eligible, so if it is found that this is an eligible area, we can utilize that funding to pay for the
Okay.
study.
Thank you.
This is waiver of first, passage on second. Like Sonia said, it's a supermajority, so make sure everybody has any questions. Let's hear them for sure. Everybody tends to agree with this?
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
Trustee Spurling? Yes. Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Yes.
And Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, approval to participate in cost sharing for regional water study in $46,741.47. I presume this is Jeff or Pete?
I will take care of this one.
Okay.
We discussed this the last couple meetings, told you this would be coming. Oswego is contracted for this study, but there are portions of this study that will be useful to us in our analysis of what our ultimate future water source will be. Some of this information will go to EEI then to help with the work they're doing for us. In your packet, I gave you the breakdown of the total study cost. You can see the total study is a little over $200,000. It's not split directly 3 ways because some of the study does not help us. It's strictly for Oswego. So our share would be $46,000 of the parts that are beneficial to us. I did get a question I didn't put in here. The study is being conducted by Baxter and Woodman, just to let you know who is doing the study. And we anticipate having this information, I don't remember now, but timeline's going to work out that EEI then can work with the information with the study they're doing and have it all in time for you guys to be able to make a decision. So with that, I would answer any questions.
Any questions?
There's still the same caveat in if one of the agencies decides to forego participation, that cost sharing, remember we had that issue brought back?
We did. On this one, our share would be our share, so if, I mean.
That's what it is
Yes,
regardless?
Oswego's contracted for the study, so if Yorkville or us didn't participate, they'd be on for all, but we're only going to do the portion that's applicable to us, so we would not take on any extra costs if Yorkville, for some reason, decided not to.
Okay, thank
They've
you.
already approved it, but if they would back out.
Any other questions?
Motion to
Motion.
approve.
Second.
Roll.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman. Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger.
Yes.
Okay, that passed. So now award of a contract to Seven Bridges Painting for power washing of the Fairfield Way. EWST. Now tell me what that is. That must be the water tower.
It is.
Okay, thank you. For $33,775.
Elevated storage tank. So, yep,
Okay.
correct. Thank you, thank you, Trustee Lee. So as you mentioned before the board tonight is the award of contract for Seven Brothers. Contracting, these bids were submitted, an RFP was placed, on March 15th. Bids were accepted and closed on March 30th, at which time there were 2 bidders that turned in completed packets. Seven Brothers was the low bidder at $33,775. That amount is $17,225 below the estimated amount from the engineering. So with that, staff is recommending the approval tonight of this item. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those at this time.
Any questions?
Caller?
I want to note that
Just
this
power
is
washing.
below our construction costs. So again, Pete has hit that where it's not above. So, all right, who said something?
Motion to approve?
Yeah.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger.
Yeah.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yep.
And Trustee Youngerman.
Yes. So we saved about $16,000.
Right.
Okay.
Pete's estimating.
We're gonna
is
put that in our
always-
wallet and,
Well,
use
Pete's
it for something else.
estimates, in all the years I've been here, Pete's estimates have always been really close to the bid. And some, I noticed some other towns, they're way off. They come in, their estimates are a lot off base with the actual costs. All right, award of a contract, Conley Excavating for Montgomery Overflow South Storm Sewer Outfall, $94,1350. Pete?
Thank you, Trustee Lee. So this is the first leg of the storm sewer improvements that we envisioned for the Montgomery overflow. This will be the work that's south of Route 30, and it'll allow us to extend storm sewer up to provide drainage in the countryside area and up to Ockett Road. We had a total of 6 bidders that submitted. The low bidder was Conley Excavating. They have previously worked for the village for Boulder Hill water main installation and did a great job for us. So their bid was $94,013.50. Engineer's estimate was $146,700. We are recommending acceptance of bid and award to Conley Excavating for this work. I will say that we have been seeing some pretty aggressive pricing in the underground industry just as of late and over the last few months. So that's to our advantage. We hope that'll carry on, but you never know how long that's going to go. So we got a good bid, we have a good contractor, and again, we'd recommend awarding the contract to Conley.
Any questions? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next, G, waiver of bid, approval of water meter replacement program, meter and supplies purchase, $222,497.
Yes, thank you. And you may recall, this item was on the last meeting agenda as well, but we wanted to bring this forward for some clarification. When we went back and looked at the village's purchase policy, which does impose additional requirements aside from the village code and other governing authority, the purchase policy itself does have a 2/3 waiver of bid requirement. So we wanted to bring this forward again, even though it is a sole source purchase, and even though we did have the requisite votes last time, because it is formally a waiver of bid, we wanted to bring back to confirm with the board and to make sure that that was clear.
Clear to everybody now? Need another motion?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman? Yes. Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Okay, next, purchase of new Peterbilt truck and equipment installation in the amount of $333,367.39. Mark?
Thank you, Trustee Lee. So in 2017, the village had moved forward with a similar truck purchase to what is being presented tonight, a 2017 Peterbilt with the same swap loader features along with the same attachments that are being proposed here. The only difference in this application is we're adding additional attachment in this instance that will be able to be utilized between both of these vehicles. That is the only difference between the two. This vehicle has proven to be a huge asset to our department as far as operations go, allowing us to significantly reduce the amount of time takes for us to transform this particular vehicle from one job task to another, compared to other vehicles that can take additional up to 3 to 4 different employees and additional man hours, as opposed to typically what it takes us to swap out these attachments and go from one configuration to another being about 20 minutes at the most. So it's proven to be a huge asset for us, mostly in our winter months of operation when we're converting quite frequently between, don't even like to say this, but water main breaks and snow removal, two of my most favorite items. But nevertheless, it's proven to be a huge asset for us, and additional truck would greatly improve operations, give the department flexibility moving forward for other items as well. A couple things to note with this particular, this is proposed to be purchased through our Sourcewell cooperative in conjunction with the Government Purchasing Act 30 ILCS 525. The village has purchased multiple vehicles and equipment through Sourcewell before, utilizing that, as well as this particular vehicle in 2017 was also purchased through the Sourcewell allocation as well, in the amount of $33,367.39. You will see that there is an additional item that correlates to this, but currently this is in the FY22 approved budget for $420,000. So obviously this dollar amount is underneath that estimated amount. If there are any questions regarding this purchase, I'm happy to answer those at this time.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion?
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
A waiver of bid, purchase a new leaf vac unit for swap load vehicle in the amount of $77,450. Mark?
Thank you, Trustee Lee. So as I mentioned, this is the additional item that correlates to the previous agenda item. This particular unit coincides with the existing unit that we have, which allows us for leaf collection operations to be a single-man unit as opposed to previous practice of the village using a two-man unit. This has proven to be an extreme advantage for us to reduce labor costs as well as extend the amount of time and duration each day during the collection season in which we pick up. The reason for the waiver of bid for this item is, again, touching on the universal ability for us to be able to utilize any attachment between both vehicles, both existing and the new purchase vehicle. So the issue that we had in front of us with potentially looking at other vendors is the inability for us to be able to interchange those different attachments on different chassis. So staying in course with having redundancy and flexibility within the department to be able to utilize each truck or each attachment at any time, we are electing to move forward with the waiver of bid. One thing to note is we did also reach out to another vendor for a competitive bid, which was substantially more, which gave us good indication that the pricing that we received from the current vendor was in line with what we had seen before. Just a reminder that because this is waiver of bid, this would require a supermajority vote. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those at this time.
Is the 108 on the back page, 994, is that your bid from the other company?
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Supermajority again, guys. Okay, take the roll.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling? Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman? Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, items for discussion. Since it's not winter, I won't mention the Packers, but I do have some nice presents from a couple board members. Any other new unfinished business?
One new, and this may be just communication. Last couple weeks, been out running and walking and biking the trails and neighborhoods. There is a lot of shrub overgrowth onto our walkways, sidewalks, on the trails. Is there, I don't know what the ordinance are, I don't know how it's supposed to be. So this is some residential, it's some seemingly, I'm not sure whose property, but just, low-hanging trees when you're walking. My daughter and I were on our bikes, and, she's getting smacked in the face with branches from trees hanging over the sidewalks. Is there a communication we can put out? Is there a standard? Is there, there's a couple areas where some sidewalks are literally 40-50% taken up by some decorative shrub overgrowth.
So there's definitely varying circumstances as it relates to that, whether or not those are parkway trees, which would be village responsibility, or whether or not they're privately owned trees. There's also HOAs that are required to maintain some of those landscaped areas along our pathways. So if you can provide us with some specific locations, those are definitely things that we can look at, whether it's Public Works going out and addressing the areas that would coincide with them being right away, then also code enforcement can obviously go out and take care of those that would be beyond that.
Perfect. I'll shoot you an email this week. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
I have two items. One of them kind of touches on a subject that Tom just brought up. I saw that the shrubs were removed at the end of Deerfield, so thank you very much, along that fence line. It makes it a lot easier to get out there. You can see traffic a lot better as it comes around the corner, so
Yeah,
thank
that
you.
worked out pretty well. That was the property is actually owned by a property management company, and the people were renters, so it was worked out really well. We were able to get sign off from the owner of the property to be able to remove those, so Public Works went out and took care of that, but it did make a great impact on line of sight for that intersection.
Yeah. And my second question, and this is a question I brought up with Jeff earlier today, what's the plan with Mayfield Drive as far as voting and those sorts of things?
So for Mayfield Drive, our intent is to prepare a survey that we can get to all the residents with a unique identifier so that they can vote on the 5 options. We're going to add a 5th option to give them something to, to look at the 5. So, and then we'll be posting the information on a village website that they can go to see.
Do you know when that'll be live?
I don't. We're going to review it on Wednesday, just to confirm that we've got everything that we need. So I would expect it would be next week, and we're also harvesting harvesting addresses from the water department so that we can get that out as well.
Okay. A couple residents along Mayfield had mentioned to me, maybe because they said if you're on Amsterdam or Hageman or Roxbury or something, it may not be as important to them, and you may not get as much feedback or as much buy-in or vote. Should we lend more credibility to the people that live directly on Mayfield? Should we lend more weight to their vote? So,
Well, don't you think it will affect the people on the other streets, though, if we put in, let's say we put in those speed tables, they're going to have to go over them at some point to get to their street. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. They should, be interested in knowing what's going to happen, because at some point, they're going to have to travel over whatever it is we do, if we
Sure.
do something, which I'm
No,
assuming.
I get it, and, I mean, we have local elections where there's only 10% turnout, so
Yep,
you
you're
would
right.
think that they'd be interested, but
I get you.
I mean, we're going to, do the survey, bring the results to you, and then really it'll be up to you guys to decide, do you feel there was enough call to take action?
Okay.
So,
Steve, are you done?
Yeah, thank you.
Couple of items. So on Saturday, April 14th, so not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, the Rotary Club was out cleaning the Douglas Road corridor, and I forgot to count up the bags because I know I always like to know how many bags of garbage we picked up. But we were out there for a couple of hours, cleaned up, wanted to give out a couple of thank yous, which is nice that all three people are in the room that I'm going to thank. So first one, Charlene at the MEDC. She was a tremendous help in getting the businesses aware of what we were going to do, making calls and business visits. She also made a donation of gloves, which have come in use. They have come in use. So we really appreciate your assistance there. Sonia in Community Development as well was helping with getting the word out to the businesses so that they knew we were out there and what we were doing, and certainly appreciate the businesses kind of giving us a wave and a cheer when we were out there as well. The other individual is Ben Brzeska. Did I say it right? Brzeska. He lent us some supplies to help out with that cleanup as well, so I really appreciate the support from all of you. And Rotary will be out doing some more community cleanups. We were supposed to do 2 different areas this past Saturday, but we thought it was going to rain, so we postponed them. So we'll be out at some point doing community cleanups later in the year. We will. Oh, and then I had one question. By the Mill Street Bridge near the Gray's property, if you are on the side without the sidewalk, but you're near Gray's, you get where I'm at, Jeff? You're with me? There's just that diamond of stop, don't go any farther. I really am concerned that someone may not see that and take a header into the river, because it can get kind of dark there. So I just want to know, is that something can we put something up that's a little more substantial, or?
So we actually just put that up. Recently, before that, there was nothing there. So actually, we just added that diamond placard for that same reason. But in line with this, through the IRP and the improvements that are going to be going on in the downtown area, we met with the Grays Mill people, talked about what their future design and needs are for that area. And because it's kind of a sidewalk that leads to nowhere, we're actually going to remove the bulk of that sidewalk going there, because essentially it has no end destination. And frankly, you're correct. That's why we put the diamond placard up, because it drew attention that it is not well distinguished as a dead end. So that should mitigate that in the future. Their plans that at least they shared with us showed, I think, an entrance to the beer garden was going to be in that vicinity. So that should basically resolve that issue once the IRP improvements take place. So
Okay, thank you.
we can definitely put something more out there, but again, that's more than what was there for the past however many years.
Right.
So.
I think when they trimmed back some things, you could notice it was a
And
little
that's-
more open.
And that's, you're very, correct there. We trimmed back a lot of the overgrowth that was incurring on the abutment walls on the bridge and whatnot. So it did kind of open that up and draw a little bit more attention to it, so.
Okay, so we'll also just have to watch how they develop that particular area. I believe that's where they're going to put their beer garden, correct?
I believe the entrance to the beer garden or something along those lines. Yeah, I'm not 100% familiar, but we did meet on site with them, and that was the determination, was that we were going to reduce the amount of sidewalk that extended basically past, I think it's going to go just past where their approachway is, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you were aware of it, so thank you, appreciate it. That's all I have.
I've got 2 things, if I may. This Friday at 3 p.m., Arbor Day Park in front of the police department is Arbor Day. We're going to plant a tree. That's what the proclamation was for. And also in May, we canceled the Standard Beautification Committee meeting because that Saturday, May 15th, we'll be performing the flower planting on the bridge. So if anybody wants to come to either event, we'll be there. And the flower planting starts at 9 a.m. Yes, Saturday, May 15th.
Anything else, anybody? You playing with your crayon, or are you, okay. How about the approval of future meetings, planning and zoning, May 6th, Thursday, 7 o'clock. You got that, Ben? Okay, village board meeting, May 10th, 7 o'clock. Beautification committee, Dan just said. Historic Preservation Commission, Monday, May 17th at 6:30. Committee of the whole meeting, Tuesday, May 18th, may be canceled.
So I just want to point out, as you'll see, this section is now listed as approval of future meetings. This is in response to trustee Betzinger's comment last time about we cancel the committee of the whole at the beginning of the meeting. Then as we get into the bulk of it, we decide, may decide you'd want it. So we'll have you here approve the future meetings at each meeting, and then you can decide, do you need it, do you not? So like this time, I'd say you keep it on, because I would wait until the next board meeting, which is the one right before the committee of the whole, and then you guys can decide. So, but this way, you'll vote on the future meetings at each meeting now, so you can decide if you want to cancel the committee of the whole or any other meeting.
Individually or as a whole for the
As a
future
whole.
meeting? Okay.
Yeah, but you could just you could say, I vote to approve this with the exception of canceling the committee of the whole, if you decide you're going to do that.
Okay.
So that's how we thought we would address that.
Okay, intergovernmental committee meeting Monday, May 24th, 6 o'clock, and the village board meeting, May 24th, 7 o'clock. There's being no executive session, so adjourn.
Need a motion?
Wait, do we have to
Wait,
vote on?
we have to
We have to
do,
vote on the meetings.
yeah, your last meeting, we changed it.
Oh,
Just a mess with you.
We changed the whole
Motion
thing,
to
Denny.
approve the
meetings.
Dennis? I see.
The meeting
Okay.
schedule, motion to approve the meeting schedule.
Second.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger? Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Now, no executive session, so I take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Betzinger?
Yes.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
We'll miss you, yes.
Lee?
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight again. I appreciate it. And I'll be thinking of you when I'm on my dock or my deck up in Wisconsin.
No, you won't.
I don't really care.